Hello, friends. This is Dave Hurwitz, executive editor at ClassicsToday.com, here with Copland Conducts Copland, the complete Columbia recordings. And before we get going, let me just tell you, yes, they have included the RCA recording of Appalachian Spring and the Tenderland Suite, which is probably the best record of his own music that Copland ever made, or one of them. Thank God. I mean, they did not limit themselves just to Columbia. I mean, I would have freaked out. I absolutely would have freaked out. It's in here. So let's go through it and see what we have. 20 CDs worth of Copland conducting Copland. Just by way of prelude, everybody knows that Copland was not the best conductor of his own music. He wasn't. But he was a very good one. He really was. He knew what he wanted. He knew how to get it. And so he wasn't a bad conductor of his own music. And he got very good orchestras and forces from Columbia to do these things. So they're pretty good. Generally speaking, they're better on the whole than Stravinsky's recordings of his own music, for example. And so, and Stravinsky also was a controversial conductor of his own music. But as is always the case, and really this is generically true, when you have a composer doing a large body of his own work, it's intrinsically interesting for what they bring to the table in understanding how they think their music should sound. So that goes without saying. But is this good Copland? Well, yes, it's good Copland. Is there better Copland? Yes, there's better Copland. But I wouldn't be without this. Copland was one of the great composers, and hearing him do his own music, and some of it is really first rate, and there are a lot of rarities in here too. So that is really what matters. So let's look at these 20 CDs. They're original jackets, which is like really exciting, And let's just go through it. That's really all the introduction you need. And you should know right now if you want it or not. And in the meantime, we begin quite early. I mean, these go back into like the Monos, 1935. These go way, 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 way back. We have his clarinet concerto with Benny Goodman and the Columbia String Orchestra. It's with harp and piano, clarinet, strings, harp, and piano. And the clarinet quartet with the New York Quartet. It's not the clarinet quartet. What am I talking about? The piano quartet. Thank you. With the New York Quartet, which has nothing to do with Copland, you've got Mieczyslaw Horszowski, Sasha Schneider, Milton Katims, Frank Miller. I mean, fabulous lineup of soloists. The piano variations with Copland at the piano. Then some other small works with Copland at the piano. The Nocturne, the trio Vitebsk, which is really a lovely work. And his ukulele serenade. So there's Aaron Copland. CD2 is the Old American Songs with William Warfield and Aaron Copland at the piano. That's a classic recording of those works. This was recorded, now we're into the 1951 already. So we're in 50, 51 in that area. And then we've got the 12 poems of Emily Dickinson with Martha Lipton, mezzo-soprano. The Dickinson songs are some of the great songs of the 20th century. I don't care what anyone says. They're fabulous, and the poetry's fabulous. So that's just incredible stuff. Then CD3, here it is. I'm showing you now. Thank God. Appalachian Spring Suite with the Boston Symphony, playing splendidly and luminously recorded, and the Tenderland Suite, similarly. Really one of his finest recordings, largely because I think he has the Boston Symphony. I really do. And they, for some reason, whatever happened, they really played for him. It's gorgeous. CD4. Now we're into these are all into the stereo era now. We're into the 60s already. The Clarinet Concerto, again, with Benny Goodman. Now, people have issues with Benny Goodman's clarinet playing in classical music, and I understand that. Sometimes he could be a little stiff and rigid, but he certainly knew this piece well, and he recorded it twice. So, give him some credit there. Give him a little love. The Old American Songs again with William Warfield, who's still around in 62 to redo them. And he still sounds fine. The Piano Concerto with Copland playing the piano, and music for the theater with the New York Philharmonic and Leonard Bernstein conducting. Bernstein, of course, was a better conductor of Copland than Copland was. And, that's the way it goes. He was lucky. He had wonderful interpreters from the very start. So let's see, what else have we got? Okay, The Tenderland. This is the abridged version of the opera, which has since been recorded complete. It's a lovely opera. I'm not a huge fan of it, frankly. I think the suite's better than the opera complete. It's kind of a little bit, well, American kitschy sweet, well, excessively sweet. But what the hell? It's the New York Philharmonic, which plays really well, and Copland is conducting it. And so, it's good to have, I suppose. It has a good cast. It's like Joy Clements, Clara May Turner, Norman Treigle, Richard Casilli, some, occasionally famous people. So that's all right. Then we've got Copland conducts the London Symphony. Now we're into the meat of Copland's discography, where he conducts the London Symphony, which plays well for him. The sonics are sometimes a little bit lacking in like bass and amplitude, I think. They are always wonderfully recorded, but same thing with Bernstein's remake of The Rite of Spring and with the LSO and whatnot. They could be a little bit not as good as Decca got, usually. Let's put it that way. But the performances are fine, and you get music for a great city, which is, I think, it was from the film Something Wild, wasn't it? I believe that was the film that he readjusted. And The Statements, which is a wonderful piece. Now, Copland recorded some of this stuff earlier. He recorded Statements for Everest. He recorded the Third Symphony for Everest. Those recordings are not in here. Those are the earliest Copland recordings. And they're exciting. I mean, they're exciting. There's some sort of rocky playing there, too. But, it's okay. Let's see. And you get notes, by the way, for all these things, which is really good. The original program notes, I think. Then we get the Emily Dickinson poems with Adele Addison and Copland playing the piano. And Las Agachadas, the Shakedown song, which is a lot of fun. And that's with, Mildred Miller was in one of these things. There's a picture of Mildred Miller in here anyway. And then In the Beginning, wonderful choral work. Yeah, with Mildred Miller, mezzo-soprano. Very good. And a piece called Lark with Robert Hale, and the New England Conservatory Chorus under Lorna Cook de Varon. Famous playwright, what am I saying? Choral conductor. There we go. Then we've got the piano quartet alone with members of the Juilliard Quartet. And Copland, I guess, is playing the piano. Who's playing the piano here? What does it say? Yes, Aaron Copland's playing the piano. He was a very good pianist. He was probably a better pianist than he was a conductor, especially in his own music. And the sextet, which is the arrangement of the Short Symphony. I love the Short Symphony as it's originally performed, but it was originally written. It's an amazing work. And that's with Harold Wright, clarinet, the Juilliard String Quartet, and the Trio Vitebsk again, with members of the Juilliard Quartet, and Aaron Copland at the piano for all of this stuff. Then we have the Short Symphony and the Dance Symphony. The Dance Symphony is fine. The Short Symphony, look, they do it all as one track here. It's actually in 3 movements. It's a 33-minute CD. With the London Symphony, the Short Symphony is so tricky and so rhythmically difficult. It really needed a modern recording. I mean, my favorite is with the Orpheus Chamber Orchestra, conductorless, believe it or not, and they just play the daylights out of it. And it's totally fabulous. This one just isn't as taut and exciting and rhythmically acute as it needs to be. And that's, that's fair. An Outdoor Overture. Oh, I played that a million times. It's fun. It's nice. It's an occasional work. Our Town, music from the film score, 2 pieces for string quartet, arranged for string orchestra, and Quiet City. Lovely performances with the LSO. And let's see, we're at CD 12. Billy the Kid, Ballet Suite, 4 dance episodes from Rodeo with the London Symphony. Those are good performances. Perfectly fine. The Fanfare for the Common Man and the Lincoln Portrait with Henry Fonda narrating, and Appalachian Spring Suite with the London Symphony. Again, the Boston one is the best one. Definitely the one to get. The Symphonic Ode. Now, there's something we don't hear very often, and that's splendid. The Preamble for a Solemn Occasion and the Orchestral Variations, which is the orchestration of the piano variations. It's another wonderful work. These are the knottier and more difficult Copland, and it's wonderful to have this stuff. I mean, it is. It's not recorded frequently, although it has been recorded. Probably it's out of print, wherever it is. I mean, these things are. CD 15. Have I skipped anything? I want to make sure. I don't want to skip anything. No, I think we're good. This is the complete Appalachian Spring for 13 minutes, performed by the Columbia Chamber Orchestra, and it's marvelous. It's wonderful to hear it that way. It's beautifully played and conducted. And I'm wondering if the bonus rehearsal disc is in here. Let me see. Hang on a minute. Paul Jacobs is the pianist, by the way. which is pretty cool. I mean, it's just fabulous solos. Oh, yeah, 17-minute long rehearsal. I love it when he's rehearsing it. You hear him say, "It's too sweet, guys. It's a little bit too much on the Massenet side. Take it down a notch." Very his Stravinskyan side is showing. That was fun. Then we've got the violin sonata with Isaac Stern and Copland, the duo for flute and piano. I mean, you don't know that, but it's kind of a major work with Elaine Schaffer and Copland. Why isn't that performed more? I don't know. The Nonette for 3 violins, 3 violas, and 3 cellos, which is a lovely work with the Columbia String Ensemble, conducted. I mean, you don't even need one. Then we've got CD 17, the Danzón Cubano with the LSO. The version for orchestra, 3 Latin American sketches at El Salón Mexico with the New Philharmonia in those cases, and dance panels with the London Symphony. Dance panels is a late work, and it's a wonderful piece, more abstract than usual. The Red Pony film suite with the New Philharmonia, John Henry, a railroad ballad for orchestra, which is only 4 minutes long, music for movies with the New Philharmonia, and then Letter from Home and Down a Country Lane. With the London Symphony Forces. Some rarities here, some interesting stuff that you may not have known that he did. Symphony number 3 with the Philharmonia Orchestra. And CD 20 is a bonus. Inscape and Connotations, his 2 late 12-tone pieces with the New York Phil and Leonard Bernstein. And I'm really glad that they included those. That was nice of them. So it gives you a very comprehensive view of Copland's output. Not everything that he did is here. I mean, the first symphony is missing, notably, but still, and it's either its organ version or the other one. But you get just about everything else, just about, and woof. There you go. Now, what is it that isn't in here? Just so you know, there are original versions of all the ballets with the music that is not included in the suites. And so for Billy the Kid, for example, and Rodeo, those are not in here. You can get them elsewhere. And there are a few other short pieces and other things that he did. But basically, it's a wonderful edition. It really is. It's a very, very fine edition with obvious authority and supplemented intelligently and lovingly by whoever put this together. They obviously cared and were smart in what they were doing. So keep on listening, friends. Thanks for joining me. Take care.